Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about Inquisitor Martyr. I'm going to go over some thoughts, some feedback, what I liked, what I disliked, what could be improved on, what could basically they could have done better, all that kind of stuff. It's not really a review, it's just me talking about the game and what I basically like and what I dislike about it. So let's jump in and let's get started. So one of the big things about Inquisitor Martyr is that the PC version got pushed out this month in the 5th of June, while the console version got pushed to the 5th of July. So that's going to be coming out next month, very, very soon for you console people. Now, at the launch of the game, I thought it went kind of well. There was a problem because there were so many people buying the game that the servers crashed and they had to like wipe everyone's character off. That wasn't so good. I thought to myself they really should have. Well, it's a problem now with companies that they overestimate, or should I say underestimate, people getting involved in their games. Like World of Warcraft have done it. Well, they've improved a lot. But I was really, really surprised that the devs for this game weren't prepared for the amount of people willing to jump on and actually play the game. So the servers went down. We lost all our characters. They did compensate us back for that. They gave us some items and stuff once the servers were back up, and we had to make our characters. So that was kind of nice of them. I do understand some of the outrage for the community because there were some power gamers on there who were like, hitting 20s and 30s in the first couple of hours because they're just absolutely psycho like that. For me, I only leveled my character like 2 or 3 levels, so I wasn't really that bothered. But I can understand the wider audience who were really, really mad at losing some really good characters and some really good gear. Of course, when games launch, you get a lot of bugs, stuff like that. Some of the most game-breaking bugs I came across when the game launched is enemies going completely invisible, where you can only see like their weapons, like the actual model of the character goes invisible, like the armor stays around and stuff like that. Well, on certain characters, like if you go against demons or anything who don't have armor or weapons and they're just, melee creatures, then they go completely invisible and you're just randomly getting attacked off something. You can't see it at all. Hopefully my character had an AoE ability, so I could spin around and do random AoE damage and kill the invisible monsters. In some instances, I didn't have that. I had to restart the actual mission, which is kind of frustrating because I got so far into it, and it was just a bit of a kick in the teeth. Like, when you really get into something and you have to come out and redo it all again, and you lose all the stuff that you've already picked up on that mission as well. So it can get quite a bit frustrating and it can get you quite a bit upset. I've had some sound bugs as well. Some of the sound bugs, it's not like game breaking, it's just, again, I had to sometimes restart the game where my weapons aren't registering sound or anything like that. So some of the little stuff, but I will give it to the developers. They have been very, very strong at putting out patches, fixing all these things as fast as possible. And as I stated, when a game launches, you get a lot of bugs like this. It's all down to the team and how they handle it and how fast they produce patches, and the team have been producing a lot of updates and stuff like that. So hats off to the development side for getting behind it and just getting the heads down and fixing it as much as possible. From the gameplay aspects and stuff like that, I'm new to the whole action RPG. I've never really got into action RPGs. Click-to-move games are really not my playstyle. I completely hold my hands up and say the only reason I was drawn to this game was because of the 40k influence. I'm a huge 40k fanboy, so that is definitely the reason why I jumped in on this ship and rode it. The combat feels good. Again, I can't really compare it to stuff like Diablo. People, like when I've been streaming it, have saying, oh, it looks like a slower version of Diablo and all that kind of stuff. I can't really compare it to that because I've never played Diablo or anything like that, but I think it's good. I've been going around with a weapons crusader, smashing things and crushing enemies. It feels really, really good when you explode like huge, massive rooms and all that kind of stuff, and blood splatters everywhere, and all the different weapon abilities and all that kind of stuff from ranged. You got the Psyker class, you've got the Assassin class, all the different classes and stuff like that. Each class feels different. Each class has definitely its own little play style, so I think they've done a good aspect of making everything like that stand out. The whole aspect of click to move is still, like I said, is still a bit new to me. I'm still really not used to it. The camera, I think, could be a little bit better. The problem I've been mentioning when I'm streaming is that the camera doesn't follow your character. You have to do that manually, like with your middle mouse button, and that can get really frustrating. Like when I go like through a door and it turns, and then I have to like move my middle mouse button to get the camera behind my character again. Apparently, someone said there was an option to like do that, but I can't find that option anywhere. If someone can point that out, or maybe mention it to the developers, or I'll even mention it to developers to maybe add that in somewhere where the camera just constantly follows your character, so you don't have to mess around with like all the camera settings. That is got to be a huge win for me. The choice of missions is a lot. You've got a lot of variety of missions to do. The problem is that I find the game is becoming very repetitive already for me, and what I mean by that is that, you know, there's only so many demonic and like chaos things you can kill on like, you know, certain different maps before it starts getting a bit tedious. The only really fun way I'm going about doing these missions is in co-op with friends. I'm very much a social gamer, so the social aspect of the game is very, very important to me. But the problem is that we've been having some server issues, and the co-op matches are not working really as much as intended at the moment. Hopefully that's got to be improved next month, or, you know, in the coming patches and stuff like that, so they fix the stability of the servers, so you can actually jump on with friends. What normally happens is that it's like lag, and like you're fighting with your friends, and like all of a sudden it just like freezes, like everyone's hitting something, and then, you know, 15 seconds later it kicks back in, and everything's dead, and you're like, what the hell in the Emperor's name has just happened? On certain missions as well, there's a huge issue with FPS on some missions. Like when I first played the tutorial campaign, I did like a big long like 45-minute video, and I actually thought, holding my hands up, thought, wow, they really fixed the FPS issue. There's really nothing. I didn't really want to play the game more because I didn't want to spoil myself for the actual launch of the game, so I just left it. I thought, okay, it's working fine. You know, I was getting, you know, 60 plus FPS, but on some missions the FPS drops, and if you do /FPS, it'll bring up your FPS in game. And while I was looking at this, it looks like there's a tab called physical FPS, and this is the one that keeps dropping for me. It keeps dropping like down from 30 to like 5. And I just can't understand what physical FPS is. Someone told me that it's the actual animation of the characters. Again, I'm not a technical chap. I don't really know what that is. But on some missions, it just runs so bad. But on other missions, it runs fantastic. You know, you're getting 60 plus FPS. So I can't understand what the problem is at the moment. I have mentioned it to developers. No one's responded to me yet. Like, well, when I say I mentioned it to developers, I posted it on Discord, but no one's got back to me yet. So hopefully, a lot of people have been reporting that as well. I know people have been reporting it because people have come to me saying, "Hey, Valrak, if you had FPS drops," and I've told them to do what I've just done, you know, /FPS in game, and see what FPS is dropping, and they're reporting the same thing as me. It's the physical FPS. Which is actually dropping down. So hopefully the developers can come up with a fix for that, because the last thing we need is that going over to the console version, which is on the July the 5th, and that could really damage it then. So yeah, hopefully they'll get that fixed. The game has a lot of weapons, you know, if you can pick from, you know, thunder hammers, multi-melters, las guns, bolt pistols, you know, there's a variety of weapons you can pick and, you know, stick together. Like you can have a las pistol, plasma pistol, las pistol, you know, bolt pistol, you know, yada yada yada. You can do all that kind of stuff, mix it around, so you have a vast variety of weapons to mix around. And the skill system, you can really go into the skill system and make a character definitely to your type. I'm still a bit confused, like with the skill system and stuff. I wish they had a bit more of a tutorial on that. To be honest, I've actually been watching Airsick Hydra's videos, to be completely fair. He's got some of the best guides out there. If you should go and check his channel out, it's really, really good. He's proper into Inquisitor Martyr. So yeah, I've been actually watching other people's YouTube videos for guides and all that kind of stuff. I think they're hugely missing out on the social aspect of this game. I'm going to start with the Cabal system, because I completely think this needs a brand new rework. At the moment, you start with a minimum, I think it's like 20 people you can put in your Cabal, and then you can level it up. I think the max you can put in is 35 people, which for me is absolutely just crap, because I really want to, you know, make a social let's call it guilds or cabals, whatever you want to call it, in the game, and have a community in the game. And I'm basically being stopped from doing that. If they want like a level system, I can understand. They don't want like 1,000-man guilds or cabals or whatever, everything like that. But at least do something, I don't know, like 50 to 75 members, and then maybe you can level it up to 100 or 100 plus in some circumstances. Because at the moment, 20 people it's just not enough, and I personally think it's ruining the social aspect of the game. Like I've got so many people waiting to get into my cabal, and you could probably come and say, well, just make a number of cabals, but that it just starts getting too tricky and just too much of an effort. Then why can't we just have one cabal? Everyone can get in, we can all speak to each other, and just work on goals as a big cabal. If you can get the people in the cabal and you can get the people working in the cabal, then why stop that? Why stop that social aspect of people getting together, forming these things, and just working together and making as much effort and trying to make their cabal as great as possible? I just think the play numbers is really ruining it. So if there's one thing I could really get into this game right now, is the cabal system to be changed and get more people into it, so it makes for a greater social aspect of the actual game. And I think that can be built on as well, like the cabal system. I really wish we had like player, sorry, not player, we do have a player like ship, but like a cabal hub where we can all go in and just meet each other. I know you can like send items with each other, like basically trade stuff in game if you've got people as friends and stuff like that. But why don't we have that aspect actually in game where click on people, maybe trade items and stuff like that, maybe relics and stuff, and maybe not tradable, let's say, maybe to stop certain abuses and stuff like that. But it'd be really cool. Apparently we were supposed to have a fortress, like a cabal fortress in this game, which got taken out. I'm not sure why it got taken out, but I think it was supposed to be around like a PvP aspect where you can assault other people's cabal fortresses and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's going to be coming back at any point, but I would love something like that where you have like a huge cabal fortress, and even if it's just for the social aspect where you can go in, maybe if you like unlock tiers or like do certain missions as cabals in game, and maybe you affect a mission in a certain way, or maybe push the direction of the game in some way, and maybe you get like banners or trophies that go in your cabal hall or something like that. So when you all get on and you do like little meetings and stuff, you can just see all your trophies and everything you've achieved together as a group. Again, this brings the social aspect back into it. This is what I love about online gaming, and I feel like this game lacks in that way at the moment. It really doesn't have that social aspect of the game. All in all, the game is good. I think it's had a decent launch. In all fairness, I really wish that they just would have waited the extra month and released it on the 5th of July, so all these stability issues or the server issues would have got fixed, because already I'm seeing mixed reviews on the game because of the way some people have taken the launch. Like for me, I fully expected this, but some people, they're paying full price for this game, and rightly so. They're allowed to have their opinion on the stability and stuff and issues and the bugs and stuff. They don't like it, so they've left their review saying, bugs, stability issues and stuff like that. Now what that has done, that is probably going to affect the game now a lot longer. Overall, even though some of those issues have been fixed. So I really do wish that the developers actually just released it on the 5th of July and just addressed as much of these issues as possible. I do think that you chaps on the console who are going to be getting this game are going to be getting a lot more smoother game, a lot more polished game than we PC people got when we launched. We've been basically your test chickens through this month. So I really do hope you enjoy your launch of your game, because if it does go well, then it's down to people like me and my friends who have given you that good launch. Probably one of the burning questions is that, do I recommend this game? And I'd say at this moment in time right now, I would wait to buy the game until the issues have been fixed. I'd probably say wait until the 5th of July until the console version comes out and they have their patch, because I'm sure more patches are going to come out, and then see how the game is then. Right now, I definitely won't recommend it now, because I still do think that there's some stability issues and some patch issues. It can be a fun game, but it can get kind of frustrating with the bugs at the moment. I would love them to address the social aspect, which I've been banging on about more or less all this video. You know, pump those Cabal numbers up, fix the co-op with the servers, all that kind of stuff is definitely needed, I personally think, anyway. Everything in this video is my personal view. You may have a complete different view on how you view the game, and that you're entitled to that, as I'm entitled to my opinion. Right, I'm done. That is me done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I've passed on some information, give you a little insight into how I feel about Inquisitor Martyr. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I did. I mentioned if this game probably wasn't a 40k game, then I probably would have no interest in it at all. But then again, yeah, I can say that about any game. If the game is not 40k to me, then I don't have any interest. I'm just solely set down that 40k path, and nothing will turn my head. Only the glorious golden Emperor's light keeps me going forward onto him. So that is my path. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you all very, very soon. See you now, and bye-bye.